Avoid fat, fat's bad, fat will make you fat. Then you spend the whole day feeling ravenous, constantly on the hunt for more snacks. We've all been there, right? But the truth is, research has actually shown that people that don't restrict fat, not necessarily eating high-fat diets, are more likely to lose weight, keep it off, and are at a lower risk of developing chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Interesting. Now, the problem with restricting fat is that it's an essential component in our diet, and when you restrict it, you're more likely to seek out other reward-giving foods like ultra-processed foods that are really high in sugar. But don't despair, because in this video we're going to be looking at the brief history of fat and why it's become so demonized. We're going to enlighten you with some new research showcasing why it's so important to include fat in your diet. And we're also going to discuss how you can do that, give you some recipes and other methods of cooking that can help you include healthy whole fats within your diet. And it might help you lose weight, it might help you just maintain good health. Hey everyone, good to see you again. My name's Robbie, I'm a registered nutritionist here at Second Nature, and today we're talking all about fat, why it's good for you, and why you should include healthy levels within your diet. Millions of years ago, it's believed that the addition of fat and meat into our diets helped our brain evolve, as the addition of a rich energy source and bioavailable nutrients meant that we could move away from a diet predominantly based on fibrous plants. Step forward to the 1950s and after the First World War, heart disease is the leading cause of death in the US. So a US researcher known as Ansel Keys launches the 7 Nations study, which looked at 7 different countries around the world. It tracks their fat intakes in their diet and their rates of heart disease. And it found an association between the two. So the countries with the higher levels of fat intake had the higher rates of heart disease. Now the first issue comes, association doesn't mean causation. So there's lots of different factors at play that will determine that risk, but we can't get into all the details today. After the 7-country study, it was then believed that blood cholesterol levels directly increase your risk of heart attacks, as it was believed that the cholesterol within your blood got into your arterial wall, caused plaques, and led to heart disease. What they then showed was that certain types of fat in the diet, particularly saturated fat, seemed to increase blood cholesterol levels, and hey presto, the march against fat started. And in the 1970s, we had the low-fat dietary guidelines introduced in the US, which led to the UK, Canada, and Australia following suit. But fortunately, science has moved on since then, and we now know that the addition of fat in the diet from whole foods such as nuts, avocados, seeds, extra virgin olive oil, meat and fish, etc., is actually beneficial for our health and reduces your risk of obesity, chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. A perfect example of this is a study that was released in 2018, which looked at 3 different diets in a group of over 7,000 individuals. In one group, they had a standard low-fat diet, the one that's recommended by the US, the UK, and Australia. They then had 2 different types of Mediterranean diets, one with added extra virgin olive oil and the other with added nuts. The study showed that those on the Mediterranean diet with added extra virgin olive oil were 31% less likely to experience a cardiovascular event like heart disease or stroke than the low-fat diet. Alongside this, the Mediterranean diet with more nuts had a 29% lower risk compared to the low-fat diet as well. Alongside this, the individuals in the Mediterranean diets had a 10% lower risk of all-cause mortality. They were less likely to develop type 2 diabetes, and in women, there was a 68% lower risk of developing breast cancer. Essentially, the Mediterranean diets that were more rich in fat outperformed the low-fat diet in every measurable way. Yes, fat is good for you. It's an essential part of our diet, it forms part of our cell membranes, and it can help you feel fuller after your meals, helping you to lose weight, and if you've lost weight already, can help you maintain that weight loss in the long term. So we recommend including fat in your meals alongside a rich source of protein, lots of vegetables, sometimes some fruit with breakfast maybe, and of course a portion of complex carbohydrates as well. So our favourite sources of fat to include in your meals include nuts, seeds, avocados, fatty cuts of meat, fish and seafood, extra virgin olive oil as your choice of cooking oil, and of course dairy products like cheese and yogurt. If you're unsure of where to start with all this, we provided links to 3 articles that have breakfast, lunch and dinner recipes, all rich in fat, protein, vegetables and complex carbohydrates. So it's official, you don't need to fear fat. It's a very healthful component to your diet. It will likely help you to lose weight, maintain your weight loss, and help lower your risk of chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Okay everyone, that's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now please like, comment, share and subscribe. See you next time. Bye. Bye then. Bye. Not sure if we need to do this at the end, it'd be quite fun. But bye. Bye.
See ya.